watching superscom.com. I'm Carlos Reale, and here we are with Dave from Morbid Angel. Thank you so much, man, for giving us a little bit of your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Letting us bug you with a few questions here. Well, you're back touring the States.
We are.
Basically, after a 6-year touring hiatus of the United States, basically.
The United States,
yeah, of course. And, you know, what, besides the next question will be, your impressions of the new tour, of this tour, what do you think contribute to that hiatus of you guys here in the States?
We have management and we have agents that put us where we presumably need to be when we need to be there. We have been doing a lot of touring, and you're right, it just hasn't been in the States. We've done some special events. We did MDF this year. We've played in California a couple times. We've done, a few events here and there, specialized stuff. Obviously, the economy's not great, and it's very expensive to, get in a bus and go around, and hopefully those things are going to be changing and as I talk to fans out there's a lot of people that are really hurting. So I hope that everything gets better in short order. But all of that, none of that withstanding, it's been a really good tour. We have some very excited fans. We have a couple of really good support acts, and we're having a good time.
You even had a promotion going on, an incentive with a ticketing agent to reduce the fees, right, for a week in August to buy tickets for this tour. They were reduced, I think, to like $2.99 instead of the usual.
Well, that'd be nice. That is a problem with the idea of people say, well, you get advance tickets, and then by the time you add all these surcharges and all these, it's essentially a scalping fee. It's a legal scalping fee, and I think that if you want to make a ticket that's affordable, for people, especially in this economy, that I think everybody ought to take a step back and say, hey, listen, we don't need to profit so much. We don't need to charge somebody $15. Some lady told me that she was going to go buy tickets, and it was $27 in advance, $30 day of show. But by the time the ticketing fees came through, she was up to almost $40 a ticket. And I'm just like, that's just crazy. Why? Who needs to do these things? Everybody wants to just keep grabbing a little more, and it's not doing them any good. It's not doing touring any good. I'm not trying to put a negative spin on it, but I think that people should step back, and they should see that this is a time for everybody to take a step back and be a little bit more charitable and say, hey, listen, let's keep really good music going. There's a lot of bands that are on tour right now, and we're not the only ones who are feeling the effects of the economy and or some of these ridiculous ticketing charges. So
you're back here now. You're touring the States. So general impressions of this tour so far?
It's been really good. it is starting to get cold. It's really interesting. We were talking about this earlier because we were set up obviously to do the interview outside, and it's it gets cold. Colorado's a cold state. We often joke about the fact that when we're packing to go on tour, and I'm literally wearing shorts and sweating because I live in Florida, and you don't really feel the fact that, boy, I need to really bundle up and put the sweaters and the heavy jackets in there because you don't feel it. But boy, we were headed to Minneapolis the other day, and it was just damn cold. It really was. I don't know how you people do it.
The band also experienced another hiatus, which was pretty much a studio album hiatus, if you will. 2003 all the way to the latest album, 2011. That was an 8-year break,
it was a long
pretty
time.
much. What happened there? How did this, if applicable, of course, affected the band for the new album or for the creative process? Was there any influence that this hiatus might have pretty much?
I don't really think so. Kind of what happened is after we started working together again, it turned into an awful lot of touring. It turned into several years worth of touring, and I don't think that any of us had initially expected that. The band had just finished doing the touring cycle for that last record, Heretic, and then obviously when we started doing some shows, and then everybody, a lot of the booking agents, let's do this, and festivals, and there was a lot of work. So we spent an awful lot of time touring, and I think everybody at that point just wanted a break. So we took a break and thought, let's start talking about maybe doing a new record. And of course, there's negotiations that involve the management and whatnot, finding a new partner. And so that brings us up to today. Sometimes things take time, and This is one of those things.
How did the process work for you to end up in Seasons of Mist as a new label?
Well, you know, I got to say that I'm really happy with Season of Mist. They're all very artistic people who work there, people who are really fans of music. They work very, very hard for us. And thus far we have a really good relationship with them, and I'm pleased about that. It always helps when you have, it takes a team to do anything, and when you have a good team and everyone knows that they trust each other and they rely on upon each other to do some of the things that need to be done, it's always a good thing. So hats off to them.
You just released, last year, your debut album with Season of Mist, Illud Divinum Insanus, pretty much. There is some doubts as what the title actually refers to in Latin. And, some of the choices that we have over here, kind of a multiple choice question, if you will. We have that divine, insane thing, one translation that we found. That godlike, insane thing. So which one is it? Which was the intended translation, at least in English, from the band for this album?
When I came up with it, it doesn't actually make sense, but it makes sense. Yes, it's something. I believe that creativity is something that's divinely inspired, and our creativity just happens to be pretty chaotic and pretty insane. So I put something together that had a little artistic twist on the language. So
the album has gotten mixed reviews all over the place, and by that, to each their own opinion. Sure. At the same time, the fans were waiting for the new album. They got it. You guys have gotten a lot of praise, a lot of heat for it. A lot of fans have been very vocal. The band has been very vocal about the reception as well. And now we have the release in this past March, of the Remixes album, of the latest one. 31-track, double album of remixes. Why did the band decide to do this release this way, as far as the initial original album and then the remixes album? Like, what is Morbid Angel trying to accomplish with this remixes album? And we mean in an artistic way, of course, not in a judgmental way, of course.
Sure. Well, now the remix thing is, we were completely hands off with that. We made some suggestions about some of the artists that we would like to be considered. Management had a couple of ideas. The label had a couple of ideas, and we didn't tell anybody what to do. We didn't tell them which song to do. We didn't tell them what to do. It's just like, here's just it's like an art project, and take it anywhere you want to. And yes, I recognize that it's not going to be for everyone, but again, it's art is one of those things where you go to a museum, and are you going to like maybe a painting or a sculpture that I would look at and really find very, very interesting? Maybe someone else would find something else interesting. So it's definitely a very varied collection. A lot of very interesting stuff there. Of course, I've always been a very big fan of Leibach, and I was very happy when they agreed to take part in it. There's a lot of noteworthy stuff on there, but again, it's nothing more than just pure art and stream of consciousness and expression. It means nothing more than that.
And do you think that it's a positive force? You're trying to expose fans of this genre to something different. I mean, I know Trey has an inclination for the extreme DJs and that type of extreme electronica genres, if you will. Is this more to open people's mind, to change? No. It's just
that's putting way too much thought into it. This is just something that again, it's an art project. And there's some stuff there's stuff on there that I personally really, really love, and there's some stuff that I don't care for, but it's okay, because it's just like this thing, and it just kind of grew organically. Again, there was no direction whatsoever on our part, other than us saying, hey, it would be nice if we could include these people, and for scheduling wise, some people were able to do something, some people weren't, some people contractual obligations they can't. I mean, there's a lot of backstory to a lot of this stuff, but there's a number of tracks on there that I was very impressed to hear. I'm like, they really took something. It's almost like when you hear what someone else does with your little bits, and it was kind of cool. Yeah.
Now, parting away from that album real quick, we wanted to ask you, how's Pete doing from the back surgery? It's like, when are you expecting him back? If you're expecting him back, or
I mean, I can't. I'm not a physician, so I can't speak to that. He seems as though he's getting in better spirits, but again, we all, of course, wish him well. He's a family member. And I wouldn't wish his challenges on my worst enemy. So he's taking it in stride, and these are sometimes we're dealt cards that are not the best cards in the world, and we have to deal with what we have to deal with.
So he's still in the process of recovering, and the surgery was successful at least.
The surgery was successful, but he still feels pain. I mean, it's a major invasive surgery. I mean, there was he had a lot of challenges. From years of being brutal. I mean, his injuries they're sports injuries, and the doctors were even like, "Wow, how did this happen?" And they watched his body mechanics. I mean, he does take care of himself. He's nutritionally minded, and he has been for a long time. And it's just the human body is designed to do some things, and people he pushed it really, really hard, and he dedicated his life to his craft, and he paid the price for it. That's what it is.
Now, going back to the band, from Altars of Madness all the way to the latest album, Elude, the Morbid Angel essence is still there. Hasn't gone away. You've gone through several lineup changes, of course, as well, and all that. But what do you see in the future for Morbid Angel, as far as that essence, that sound, that career goals that Morbid Angel wants to, at least artistically, personally, even for you?
Sure. Well, it's not so. It's not quite as deliberate as your question may infer. Goals. I mean, we've exceeded more goals than we've ever set for ourselves. I think at this point, it's. You take day by day, and hopefully each day that comes by, you're able to, from an entertainment value, I can put a smile on someone's face. I can take someone away from the mundane, even if only for an hour and a half during our set. We can inspire people. We can help people to dream and be imaginative. These are all the things that are starting to disappear from our planet, and I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing when people wake up and deliberately say, paradigm shift, and do something different, just spontaneously, than they would ordinarily do. Because I think it opens yourself up to new growth, new enrichment, and a renewal. And that's how I try to live my life, and I try to encourage others to do that as well.
For last, more on the funny side of the question than anything else, are you thinking about any future album titles that starts with a J? You don't have to tell us what they are, but are you thinking about them?
No. But I mean, listen. There's as much of a reason because it's expected that we follow the alphabet. That's a perfect reason to not do so. But as soon as you break the chain, then the chain is broken. So that's this battle that we've had for a while. But it'll be J.
It will be J. Okay, that's good to know. A lot of fans sure are expecting that as well. But for last, we always like to give you this moment, and your fans are listening. Whatever you want to say to them, go ahead.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for all their support. I mean, we're living in brutal times, and it takes a brutal soundtrack, and we're here to continue to give it to you. And thank you for that.
Dave, thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you for letting us bug you. Really appreciate it, man. Awesome.